Hey there, it's Lacey J, here to ask you to go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, buy yourself some merch, and most importantly, send us a message, a question, fan mail, even hate mail. We'll respond on YouTube. Also, please remember to rate and review the podcast on your favorite app or share it with someone you know who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's season 6, episode 7 of Lost in My 40s. It's called Dr. Linus. It's a Benjamin Linus episode, and it's a Christy episode. But first, how's everybody doing?
Doing
terrible.
Great.
Oh, my God.
Just wanted to change it up.
All right.
No, I'm fine.
Let's get ready for another Lost episode. Shocking ending. But first, Benjamin.
Yeah.
What those rankings look like at the end of episode 6.
At the end of episode 6, in third place, we had Leslie Arzt. And we had
can't get a break.
Yeah, we had a tie for second worst between Dojin and Creamy Kimi with negative 26 points. And still at the top of the bottom, Randy Douchebag Nations with negative 28. We had 0 movement on the top. No points, no changes. Helen in third place with 24. Jack the Silver Surgeon with 36. And Hurley in 72 points, with 72 points in the pole position.
Wow. At least there wasn't no movement in the bottom, because that could get uncomfortable.
Might need a laxative.
Yeah, exactly.
Christy, would you like to tell us all about Dr. Linus?
Yeah, this is going to be great.
I knew it. I knew favorite character.
So 2007 on the island. We pick up at the end of the last episode just after the temple slaughter. Ben's running through the jungle and he trips and falls as he tries to keep up. We see Ilana, Sun, Frank, and Miles pass by carrying torches. He catches up to them, and Ilana immediately questions him about Saeed's whereabouts. Ben sarcastically remarks, "I'm fine, thank you." Ilana presses, "Where is he?" Ben, catching his breath, replies, "Considering that he just killed Doden, I don't think he's going to be joining us." Sun, confused, asks, "Who's Dogen?" "The guy in charge at the temple," Ben adds. "Saeed killed Lennon too." Ilana, seeking confirmation, asks, "Are you sure?" Ben, with a hint of exasperation, says, "He was standing over their dead bodies holding a bloody dagger. So yeah, I'm pretty sure."
You're going to eat those words.
Yep.
Sun turns to Ilana, clearly upset. "You said we would be safe at the temple." Ilana responds defensively, "That's what I was told." Ben interrupts,
Shnikes.
proposing, "Well, what about the beach, where we buried Locke, where they lived? At least we'll have the water at our backs, and it's familiar territory. Anybody else got a better idea?" Nobody does, so they head to the beach.
It's always back to the beach.
Tactically, you don't necessarily want to have the water at your back.
Well, he's not expecting a ship to show up. Spoiler
or a
alert.
sub or anything.
Yeah.
Or, Ethan to come swimming out of the deck to kill one of the people.
I've got a single word that dislodges that strategy: Dunkirk.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay. Now we're in World War II.
No, I mean, it's just anything. You really don't want to have you need to have an escape route if you're going to create a defensible position. It's really a last resort if you have the sea at your back.
There's also not a whole lot of cover on the beach. But
Exactly.
Yeah. Just ask him on D-Day.
Exactly.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Everything back to World War II.
Well,
All right.
All right, flash sideways number 1. It's 2004 off the island. Ben stands in front of a history class speaking passionately. It was on this island that everything changed.
What?
And everything finally became
Island.
clear. Elba is where Napoleon faced his greatest test, because exile wasn't the worst of his fate. What was truly devastating to him was the loss of power. Sure, they allowed him to keep the title of emperor, but without any power, it was meaningless. He might just as well have been dead.
Interesting
The bell rings.
words coming out of his mouth.
Mhm.
And then he goes, say it! Say it!
The bell rings, signaling the end of class, and the students begin to file out. Ben reminds them, all right, remember, 5 and 6 tomorrow. Thank you. Principal Walter Peck appears in the
Oh,
doorway.
God. I know this guy.
And Ben greets him. Principal Reynolds, replies, walk with me. Moments later, they
This
walk through the
actor,
courtyard.
I can't remember what his name is, but this
I don't
actor,
know, but he's dickless.
they always exactly
He's
Yep.
dickless.
they always cast him as a fucking like just sleaze.
Yeah, he's
William
always an asshole.
Atherton
Atherton, that's it.
is
Yep.
his name.
I also really enjoyed him as the reporter in Die Hard.
Die Hard, that's
Yeah,
right.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he always just
He
plays
gets
like
decked. Bam.
a know-it-all like dickwad.
Yeah.
He's like a kind of a
Did you
mincing.
get that?
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because I've seen
Yes.
interviews with him, and he seems like a totally delightful person, but he always gets cast as this douchebag.
Shitty douchebag Napoleons. Yeah.
Man has no dick.
Dick. Exactly.
Moments later, they walk through the courtyard. Reynolds informs Ben, Linus, there's been a slight schedule shift. I'm going to need you to supervise detention after school today. Ben, taken aback, responds, what? Reynolds continues, in fact, all week. Cutbacks, budget crises, events above your pay grade. Needless to say,
Yes.
some of us have had to pull double duty.
And what's this stuff I heard
Fucking
about your
asshole.
TPS reports?
Yeah, everybody should come in on Saturday.
Ben protests, but we have history club today. Those kids need me. Reynolds dismisses his concern. There are 5 students in history club, Linus. They'll live.
Fuck
Ben
you.
insists, shouldn't we
shit.
be encouraging the ones with ambition? Reynolds, unmoved, says, spare me. The club isn't for them. It's for you. It makes you feel needed. Unfortunately, for now, you're needed in detention. Thanks for your understanding, Linus. As Reynolds walks away,
Dick.
Ben mutters under his breath,
This man
Dr.
has
Linus.
no dicks.
They caused the explosion.
Tell him about the Twinkie.
What about the Twinkie?
So Ben
Sorry.
actually said, it's Dr. Linus, actually.
Ooh.
Kind of a sad moment, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm rooting for Bad Ben to come out. Fight back!
Later, Ben sits down to lunch with Arst, who's clearly frustrated. Oh, for the love of, it's ruined. It's ruined. Ben asks, what's the problem, Leslie? Arst, wiping at his shirt, exclaims, well, formaldehyde. Formaldehyde's the problem. You know what gets out formaldehyde? Nothing. Maybe if I had some frickin' lab aprons, I wouldn't have to pay for incompetent students with another trip to Marshall's.
Marshalls,
So
wow.
pathetic.
Yep.
Oh, ours.
Ben sympathizes. Budget cutbacks. Arst, exasperated, continues. How hard would it be for Reynolds to spread out the love a little to the sciences? I mean, I'm dealing with lab equipment here from the 1950s. Now, why is that?
I mean,
Ben
honestly,
responds-
ours gripes are really valid as far as
They
like,
are, yes.
like schools and education goes. He's right.
All of that's true, but I have a feeling if he was at the best school with all of the best equipment, he would still be finding something to bitch
Yeah.
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Also
I
true.
mean, there's a man with the name Leslie. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What? I love that. I love the name Leslie. What about Leslie Nielsen?
What about him?
You're
Don't
not
call me
shitting on
Shirley.
him.
Don't call him Shirley. I mean, that's it. Exactly.
I like Leslie
I
as a
like,
boy's name.
I like
Whatever.
Leslie Higgins. He's a feminine junior.
I don't know who that is.
Ted Lasso.
Who?
Oh,
Lasso.
Ted Lasso. Of
Oh.
course.
Hmm.
Yes.
Higgins.
Leslie. Yes. Actually, his character's great.
Yeah.
2
So
points for
Ben
Leslie.
responds, Principal Reynolds is an administrator. He's not a teacher. He's forgotten what the public school system is about. Arst, cynical, says, yeah, summers off in exchange for a crap pension. I'm happy to remind him. Ben Resolute says, no, taking care of the kids. That's what's important. Ars, dismissive, replies, okay, you just keep dreaming. Ben, determined, insists, well, I know you've given up, but I refuse to. John Locke, sitting nearby, interjects, maybe you should be the principal. Ben looks up, surprised. Locke continues, just sounds like you care about this place. And if the man in charge doesn't, then maybe it's time for a change.
Oh.
Ben
This
says,
is
I
interesting.
appreciate the sentiment, but who's going to listen to me? Locke, raising his hand, says, I'm listening. A contemplative look comes across Benjamin Linus's face.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So on the island, we have Unlock encouraging Ben to make a decision. And in Sideways verse, we have Locke doing the same.
Yep.
2007 on the island, Ilana, Sun, Lapidus, Miles, and Ben trek through the jungle. Miles says, how about you tell me what that thing back there was? Ben replies, that thing's what killed her friends back at the statue. Ilana adds, and Jacob, right? It killed Jacob too.
Ruh-roh.
Ben quickly agrees, yeah, of course, and Jacob. Ilana interrupts, of course. And then, turning to Miles, she says, you're Miles, right? Miles Strom, you communicate with the dead? Miles clarifies, not technically. I can tell you how someone died, pick up their last thoughts before they check out, but I need to be near their body.
Hurley's power
Ilana-
is better.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You can actually talk to them and see them.
Yeah, it's way cooler.
Yep.
Ilana hands him a pouch full of ashes, saying, this is what's left of Jacob's body. So tell me, Miles, how did he die? Miles kneels, clutching the pouch, concentrating, and finally says, Linus killed him, he announces.
Oops.
Ben protests, what? That's not true.
Uh-oh.
Miles continues, he was standing over Jacob's body with a bloody dagger, so yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Whoa.
I love that he threw that back, right
Yep.
back at him.
Pretty great.
Ilana thanks Miles and turns to Ben, saying, Jacob was the closest thing I ever had to a father, before walking away. Miles looks at Ben and says, uh-oh. The group continues marching towards the beach, leaving Ben standing in shock. Lost title screen.
Yep.
Whoa.
Bit of a plot hole here.
Uh-oh.
Miles, the first time we encounter him, he didn't need a body to talk to the kid that died.
What
Remember
kid that died?
when he shows up and he's trying to find
At
the
the
drugs
house.
at that kid's house?
The house. Yeah.
There was no body there.
Yeah. Well, there
also,
was
when he went to the other
in the
guy's house,
apartment.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wasn't near a body like when we see him as a child. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
apartment.
So
No, yeah, he was. The guy was dead. He found him there. He wasn't near the wife,
Yeah.
but the guy was talking about him. Yeah, so maybe just that first scene.
Maybe the kid had been cremated and he was in an urn somewhere in the house.
There you go.
There we go.
you
guess
can
we
talk
have,
to
we
ashes,
have to
yeah.
assume that then.
Perfect.
The group arrives on the beach and Ilana immediately takes charge, saying, I'm going to look for some tools and get to work on some shelter. The rest of you see what food's left. Maybe get a fire going. Miles announces, yeah, a fire will fix everything.
It will.
Ben asks, is there anything you'd like me to do? Ilana ignores him and Ben tries to save face, saying, you know, that psychic is totally unreliable. Miles actually tried to blackmail me once.
This is actually quite pathetic coming
Yeah.
from
It
Ben,
gets
like in this
worse.
moment. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Ilana walks away without a word. Lapidus, observing the interaction, walks past Ben and says, you make friends easy, don't you? Flash sideways number 2, 2004, off the island. Ben takes a frozen dinner out of the microwave and presents it to his sick father, Roger. I
What?
made you one of the turkey meals with the cranberry sauce that you like, he says. Clearly on oxygen, Roger says, it ain't one of them lean deals, is it?
Jesus.
Ben assures him, no, Dad, it's organic. I'm trying to keep you healthy.
Oxygen tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger replies, well, it's a little too late for that. How was work?
Exactly.
As Ben begins changing Roger's oxygen tank, he vents his frustration. I have a doctorate in modern European history, and yet I'm babysitting burnouts in detention. And the worst of it is, as I look out at those ingrates that I'm tasked with watching, I can't help but thinking that maybe I'm more of a loser than any of them.
Oh,
Roger
Ben.
says this isn't the life he wanted for Ben, and Ben confirms that he knows this. Roger continues, that's why I signed up for that damn Dharma initiative and took you to the island, and
What?
they were decent people.
what?
Smarter than I'll ever be. Imagine how different our lives would have been if we had stayed. Right.
Imagine.
Yeah. Imagine.
Ben, with a hint of sarcasm, replies, yes, we'd have both lived happily ever after. But Roger
And
insists,
the ghost of Lennon pops up.
Yeah.
Imagine. Oh, sorry.
I thought you meant the interpreter for a minute there.
I did.
That's who she was talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You started singing Imagine, and I thought John Lennon.
Right. That's what I did last episode too. Remember?
Yeah.
No, you don't. Is it
I do.
ADHD brain or MS brain?
What's the difference?
Blonde brain.
I'm not a blonde. Yes, we'd have both lived happily ever after. But Roger insists, no, I'm serious, Ben. Who knows what you would have become? Ben finishes setting up Roger's new tank as the doorbell rings. Ben answers it and finds Alex on the other side. She says, Dr. Linus, where were you today? We had to cancel History Club. Ben, apologetic, explains, oh, I'm so sorry. I should have put a note on the door. The club meetings have to be postponed. I'm in detention all week. Alex, teasing, says, oh yeah? What'd you do? Ben laughs. Principal Reynolds needs me to cover, so... Alex, looking worried, says, AP test this Friday. I was kind of counting on the tutoring. Ben, feeling responsible, offers, all right, how about this? Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. in the library, and you bring the coffee. Alex, relieved, replies, thanks. God, you're the best, Dr. Linus. Ben, smiling, says, my pleasure, Alex. As Alex walks off, Ben calls after her, see you. 2007 on the island. At the beach, Sun approaches Alana, who's gathering wire, and asks, excuse me, how long are we going to stay here? I need to find my husband. Alana says, trust me, if anyone wants to find him, it's me. I really don't think that she wants to find him more than Sun does. It's not a fucking contest either.
So it's like, really? Why do you want to find him?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But Alana continues, I don't know where to look.
In the freezer,
Confused.
obviously.
Yeah.
There you go.
Confused, Sun wonders why she would want to find Jin. Alana tells her, because your last name is Kwan. So is his. And I don't know whether I'm supposed to protect you, him, or both of you.
See, she's still on the mission. Not like these guys that gave up last week. Like, okay, fine, we're going to follow Unlock.
Red shirts.
Alana,
Those are
Alana-
red shirts. They give up
Alana is
easily.
on it. No, those are the ones that are alive, like Cindy and the kids that went with him.
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Sun, even more confused, asks, protect us? What are you talking about? Alana says, you're candidates to replace Jacob.
Whoa.
Oh, sure, that makes a lot of fucking sense. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay. Now I understand.
Sun wants to know what they would place him for. Alana says, if you're the one selected, I imagine you'll find out.
Oh, dear.
And see, the other thing is Alana has a mission,
Yeah.
to find the candidates. Of other people in the temple are just there.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I thought their mission was to follow Jacob's mission, not just be like, oh, he's dead, so I guess I'll just jump to the other side. We already argued this. I don't know how to explain it again. I can be mad at whoever I want to be mad at.
Yeah.
All right.
Sun asks, wait, you said candidates. How many are there? Alana says 6. There are only 6 left.
6.
Yeah, we had an oceanic
Out in the
6
jungle.
too.
Yep.
Out in the jungle, Hurley sleeps soundly mumbling, cheese curds.
What the fuck? That's so
Cheese
funny.
curds are delicious.
They are.
It reminds me of George Clooney in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou when he's sleeping.
That was my hair.
My hair.
Jack nudges him awake. Hurley, come on, wake up. Hurley, groaning, protests. I'm hungry. Let's eat breakfast first. Jack says, no, we can eat on the way.
Can you? Where are
Hurley.
you going to stop? To Taco Bell?
Yeah, is there a McDonald's on the island? That's
Yeah.
right next to the lighthouse.
5 kilometers inland.
Yeah. It's in the lighthouse gift shop.
Jack says, no, we can eat on the way. Hurley, trying to stall, suggests, what's the rush? Maybe we should take our time.
God.
Jack resolute
Maybe everyone's
counters.
dead.
Yeah. Jack counters, I'm leaving, Hurley. You coming or not? Hurley, reluctantly following, insists, dude, it's this way. Jack, skeptical, argues, no, we came this way. Harley.
Are we really doing
Yeah.
this? We're just
Harley.
arguing over which way we came. All right.
Hurley, confident, states, yeah, but that was a mistake. This is faster. Trust me. It's just around here. It's a shortcut. Suddenly, Richard emerges from the jungle, correcting them. You're both wrong. The temple's that way.
What?
We got the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a dick in a box.
Yep.
and then he pulls Hurley's nose and goes, whoa, 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 whoa.
And Hurley starts slapping him on the face.
Did you see the meme I posted the other day? It was Justin Timberlake's arrest photo inside a box.
I did not see that.
No.
No, but his
Like
photo's been everywhere.
A dick in a box.
I saw a funny meme that apparently when he was arrested, he was like, this is going to ruin the tour.
Yeah.
So now anytime anything bad happens to you, you can just say, this is going to ruin the tour.
Yeah. And did you hear that the cop was so young that he didn't recognize him? He didn't know who he was.
Yes.
What was
I
he
didn't
doing?
realize that it was because he was
Yeah, was that-
young.
He got
Drunk
arrested
driving or
for drunk
something?
driving. He claims he had one glass of wine.
Yeah,
I thought it was a
I always say
martini.
two.
Oh, a martini. Yeah, I think you are right. A martini. Sorry.
Not that it really makes much of a difference.
No.
Well, he shouldn't have blown if he did.
Yeah. He should have
Never.
that situation.
That's right, on the cop.
Jack wants to know where Richard came from, but Richard says they wouldn't believe him if he told them. Jack, challenging, says, try me. Richard replies, not yet. But if you want to go to the temple, it's this way. Hurley, looking at Jack, asks, dude, do you trust that guy? And Jack replies, at least he's not stalling.
Ooh.
Well,
At the beach, Ben searches Sawyer's old tent. Lapidus approaches, suggesting, when you're finished in the library, give me a hand getting some more firewood.
Venus. I love him.
You gotta rub one out first.
Ben, rummaging through the tent, not rubbing one out through the tent, finds an issue of Booty Babes and comments, God, the things people will bring on a trip. Continuing his search, he finds a bottle of water from Flight 815, reminiscing, Oceanic. I remember that plane breaking in half like it was yesterday. Lapidus, amused, responds, you sound nostalgic. Ben says, maybe I am.
It was a simpler
Lapidus
time.
reveals, I was supposed to be flying it, Oceanic 815.
What?
I overslept. Ben, incredulous, replies, come on. Lapidus, amused, continues, can you believe it? Imagine how different my life would be had that alarm gone off.
I mean,
Ben, pondering,
What's
says,
with all this going on here?
yeah. How different would it have been? The island still got you in the end, didn't it?
Oh.
well,
The pilot died really
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
So-
true. Yeah. He was the first smoke monster
Victim.
victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lapidus, chuckling, walks away just as Ilana presses her rifle into Ben's neck, commanding,
Ruh-roh.
walk.
Oh boy.
She marches Ben away as he pleads, "Okay, wait, you don't have to." Alana sternly orders, "On the ground, face down." Ben complies, and Alana ties one end of the wire that she's been gathering to a tree and fastens the other end to Ben's leg using a primitive clamp. Ben, confused and scared, asks, "What are you doing? Look,
Yeah, he was
this is
blubbering
about what
here.
Miles said."
Yeah.
It was kind of pathetic.
Yep.
Alana, with cold determination, instructs, "Pick it up." Ben, bewildered, asks, "What?" Alana, unwavering, demands, "Pick it up and start digging."
Oh my God.
Ben, picking up a makeshift shovel, asks, "Digging what?"
Like you don't know.
Yeah.
Right by the cemetery. Shit.
I know. You're standing next to all the other graves.
Alana tells him it's a grave, and he wants to know for whom. She says, "You murdered Jacob. It's for you."
Welp.
Flash
the piss
sideways.
drips down his leg.
Yeah.
Oh my
seriously. Flash sideways number 3, 2004, off the island. Ben sits across from Alex in the library, attempting to guide her through her studies. "Now, you know this. I know you do," he encourages. Alex replies, "Expanded Lord Cornwallis's powers as Governor General." Ben praises her. "Very good. Now moving on to the Charter Act of 1813. At the time of the charter, the East India Trading Company's power extended to all of India except for..." Alex, struggling, admits, "I don't know." Ben reassures her, "It's okay. It's just a test." Alex, stressed, exclaims, "Just a test? Ha! It's only my entire life, Dr. Linus."
Yeah, AP tests are important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben thinks she's being a bit overdramatic, but Alex says, "Am I? My mom works 2 jobs just to pay our rent. How am I going to pay for college, let alone Yale, assuming I can even get in?" Ben, trying to calm her, responds, "You're one of the brightest students I've ever had. I don't worry about your future at all." Alex, somewhat relieved, asks, "Really?" Ben confirms, "Really. Now what can I do to help? I'll write you a great letter of recommendation. Alex interrupts, "No, I need someone who went there. Unfortunately, the only one I know is that pervert Principal Reynolds."
Oh.
Pervert.
Ben, puzzled, asks, "Excuse me?
I
Pervert?"
mean, is he really a pervert? Like he was just fucking a nurse.
I know. That's what I thought. He was like doing a student when she.
I don't know how
started
that's
telling this.
possible because this man has no dick.
Well, that's
Right?
also true.
Alex quickly says, "Forget what I said. I was just angry." Ben, growing concerned, inquires,
Grabs a
"Alex,
doll. Where did he touch you?
Yeah.
has Principal Reynolds done something to you?"
Did he
Alex-
introduce you to his friend Horace?
Oh, God.
Nah, she's too old for Horace.
Yeah. Alex, alarmed, clarifies, "What? Ew, no, I swear it's not that." Ben, still worried, asks, "Then what is it?" Alex hesitates and says, "Dr. Linus, if I tell you, will you promise to keep it between us?" Ben says, of course he promises, but he's also required reporter?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. To be like, yeah, I witnessed.
Mandatory reporter or something like that.
Right. That someone witnessed 2 of our staff fucking. Yeah, you'd probably have to do that.
Alex moves closer to Ben and whispers, "So I was in the nurse's office once a few months ago. I had a stomach ache and I just went in to find a cot and I fell asleep. When I woke up after school, in the other room, Principal Reynolds was there and the nurse. Well, I guess she forgot I was in there. They were, doing it. In the room right next to me."
Remember
where they
we
did
used to say
kids' hearing
doing it?
tests.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Look at that.
Doing
And
it, and doing it,
and
and
she
doing
was
it
screaming,
well.
"This man has no dick."
"Isn't that totally gross?" Ben responds, "Totally," which sounds so weird coming out of his mouth.
Right?
Yeah.
Gag me with
Totes.
a spoon.
Alex asks, "Dr. Linus, you're not going to say something, are you?" Ben reassures her and says, No, a promise is a promise." "Well, shall we return to the high seas?" Alex is relieved and agrees, "Yeah, sure." 2007, on the island. Ben digs his grave slowly on the beach while Ilana watches.
Where's Anna Lucia when you need her?
I know,
my
right?
God. I'm just going to let her keep reading.
Miles approaches, commenting, "Not exactly tearing it up on the digging front, are you?" Ben responds, "Summon Ana Lucia or shut the fuck up." Actually, he says, "I'm not in a big hurry." Miles offers Ben some food. "Brought you some grub. Hope you like green beans and bananas, because it's all we got."
Wow.
It's one hell of a combination, too.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ben declines, saying he's not hungry right now. Miles shrugs and says, "Suit yourself," and he turns to leave. Ben calls after him, reminding him of the time he asked for $3.2 million and offering to get it for him if he cuts him loose. Miles scoffs, "What are you going to do? You going to write me a check on this banana leaf?" Ben
I owe
that,
you 3.2 mil.
Ben explains that he can get off the island and has the resources to get the money. Miles counters, "Why would I need your money when there are a couple of jabronis under there named Nikki and Paolo who got buried alive with $8 million in diamonds on top of them?"
Oh.
I love that he called them jabronis.
Jabronis. Yeah.
Ben expresses disbelief that Miles is standing by while Ilana plans to kill him for killing Jacob, a man who didn't care about being killed. Miles retorts, "No, he cared. Right up until the second the knife went through his heart, he was hoping he was wrong about you."
Ouch.
I guess he wasn't.
Ouch.
As Miles walks away, Ilana files a shot near Ben's feet, commanding, "Dig!"
You know, this whole thing, if somebody is threatening to kill you if you don't dig your own grave,
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
What
stop
are you gonna do,
digging.
kill me?
Well,
Like, you-
no, because
you-
the digging is it could be stalling. You could be thinking of a way out of this. And if you're digging slowly, usually if you buy Ben some time, he comes up with
Yeah,
something.
I guess. I've always found it an odd
Yeah.
thing to say, like, dig your own grave or I'll kill you. It's like, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
You dig my grave, bitch.
Yeah, you're
Like,
going
I'm
to kill
not-
me anyway.
I'm dying anyway. Yeah.
exactly.
I'm not gonna
Let's
do
get it
all the
over
hard
with.
work beforehand.
Seriously. I'm not going to end my life doing manual labor. Fuck off.
God, yeah,
I'm
exactly.
dying relaxed, motherfucker.
Exactly.
I don't want to be all sweaty and gross.
Yeah.
Elsewhere in the jungle, Richard leads Hurley and Jack. Hurley questions if Richard is time traveling, but Richard denies it. Hurley, puzzled by Richard's unchanging appearance over 30 years, asks if it's a Terminator or a vampire thing. Richard clarifies, "Jacob gave me a gift."
What?
Jack inquires about Jacob, and Richard reveals that he knows Jacob is dead. They reach the Black Rock, and Hurley notes, "I thought you said we were going to the temple, dude."
Oops.
Richard admits, "I lied. I'm not sure what happened, but I just came from there, and there's no survivors."
Uh-oh.
And have you seen this boy? Boom, boom, boom.
Jack
Boom,
asks,
boom, boom.
"What about our friends, Saeed, Kate?" Richard hopes they weren't there and survived. Jack, suspicious, turns to Hurley. "You didn't want to go back there. Did you know about this?"
Uh-oh.
And Hurley admits, "Jacob kind of sort of hinted at it."
Yeah, hinted at it.
Sort of.
There's nothing
Kind
you
of.
can do for them.
Right.
Yeah, they're fucked.
Richard is surprised that Hurley spoke to Jacob and warns him that whatever he said, don't believe it.
What?
What?
Huh?
Richard turns and marches towards the ship with Jack calling after, asking where he's going. Richard replies, "There's something I need to do." And when Jack questions what, Albert replies, "Die."
Oh.
What do you want us to do?
Shit.
Die.
Flash sideways number 4, 2004 off the island. Ben enters an empty classroom where Arst is grading tests. "Do you have a minute?" Ben asks. Arst, frustrated with his students' inability to distinguish between a genus and a species, grumbles, "Might as well give
That's
them
pretty
all
bad
F."
in high school.
I mean,
What
that's
do you
pretty
want?
bad.
Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
"Might as well give them all Fs. What do you want?" Ben inquires about Art's computer skills, to which Arts responds, "Something tells me you wouldn't be standing here if you didn't know that I'm good at computers." Ben gets to the point.
I'm good
I don't
at
know.
computers.
Yeah.
Good at computers.
Ben gets to the point asking Arst if he could hypothetically access someone's email account without their knowledge, specifically a faculty account. Arst, curious, asks whose. Ben reveals it's Nurse Kondraki's account he's interested in, prompting Arst to tease, "Why, you got the hots for her?"
Like,
Ben
what?
clarifies,
Yeah, when I'm attracted to somebody, I like to break into their email.
Right.
Yeah,
That's my MO.
Yep.
I guess that's what Arst would do.
Yeah, right.
Ben clarifies that he's just curious about her correspondence. Arst, losing patience, demands more details. "I don't have time to play 20 questions. Either you can tell me what it is you're doing, or you can let me finish grading my papers in peace." Ben confesses his suspicion that Nurse Kondraki might be involved in an inappropriate relationship with Principal Reynolds. Arst, catching on, exclaims,
But the man
making a
has no
play."
dick. I mean, I can't let it go. Sorry.
"You're making a play. You're going after the big job, aren't you?" Ben asks if Arst will help him. Arst agrees, but with conditions. "I want a good spot. I want Lemore's spot in the main parking lot, next to the maple tree, not under the maple tree, next to the maple tree. I want aprons, lots of aprons, and I want lab equipment in here that was built in this decade. Is that a deal?" Ben agrees, "Deal." Arst, impressed, remarks, "You really had me fooled with that sweater vest, Linus. You're a real killer."
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent choice of language there. 2007 on the island. We get a quick glimpse of Ben as he continues digging his grave on the beach under Ilana's watchful eye. Then, inside the Black Rock, Jack finds Richard examining some chains. Richard reveals he's been inside this ship before, but never returned until now. Hurley calls out, and Jack responds, "I'm in here." Richard opens a box of dynamite, and Hurley warns about its instability, recalling Dr. Arst's explosive mishap.
You got arse on you.
Is Richard just Jack Sparrow with a haircut?
Is this the island where all the rum is? When he was trapped on
exactly.
for a while? No,
Richard
but I
calmly
do.
says-
I do believe it was a couple episodes ago. Christy decided that Richard arrived at the island of the Black Rock.
Makes sense.
And,
I mean, he looks
now,
Spanish,
theory.
and they were seafaring or Portuguese or whatever.
Conquistador.
Is that what you think? Well, it's not too many weeks until we find out.
Finally.
Richard calmly explains that he knows that he can't kill himself, and he asks Jack to do it for him.
Whoa.
Jack, puzzled, hears Richard explain that Jacob's touch is considered a gift, but it feels like a curse. Richard throws the dynamite stick roughly, prompting Hurley to urge Jack to leave. Richard elaborates on his despair. "I devoted my life, longer than you can possibly imagine, in service of a man who told me that everything was happening for a reason, that he had a plan that I was part of, and when the time was right, he'd share it with me. And now that man's gone, so why do I want to die? Because I just found out my entire life had no purpose. Now, if I light this myself, it won't work, but you can light it for me, Jack.
Oh my
I made
God.
the fuse long enough so you'll have time to get out." He hands Jack the dynamite. Hurley, panicked, tries to convince Jack to leave, but Jack decides to stay, lighting the fuse, sitting beside Richard and saying, "Now let's talk."
Balls right here.
First
Big
he
ol'
swallows
ones.
the poison pill. Now he's just chilling
Oh,
with
yeah.
dynamite. What's going on,
Yeah.
Jack?
Death wish. Hurley's pleading with Jack to leave, saying that Alpert's crazy. Jack says he'll be fine, and before leaving, Hurley says, "If you change your mind, I'll be like a mile away." After Hurley's gone, Jack says he doesn't think either of them will die from the dynamite. Richard wants to know why, so Jack says, "I just came from a lighthouse where my name was etched in wood on a dial. I turned a mirror that somehow reflected the image of my childhood house. Jacob's lighthouse. He got Hurley to bring me out there because he wanted me to see what was reflected in that mirror. For some reason, he wanted me to know that he had been watching me ever since I was a kid. I have no idea why, but I'm willing to bet you that if Jacob went to that trouble, that he brought me to this island for a reason.
Whoa.
And it's not to blow up sitting here with you right now.
Damn, look who's a believer.
Starting to drink that Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Yep.
Believer.
Yeah, that was another thing. But look who's a believer. I don't know why believer came out of my mouth.
The Justin life, baby.
Yep.
Living that Justin life.
Albert thinks that this is a huge risk and asks Jack, "What if you're wrong?" Jack says he's not, then closes his eyes. As the fuse burns out harmlessly, Jack suggests they try another stick, but Richard concedes and asks, "Now what?" Jack replies, "We go back to where we started."
That sounds
Meanwhile-
like beach time.
Yeah. Ben digs his grave on the beach, and hearing the smoke monsters roar, Unlock appears, greeting Ben and learning of Alana's intention to kill him for murdering Jacob. Unlock reveals he wants Ben to leave the island once they're gone.
Oh, boy.
Explaining-
Huh?
Here we
explaining
go.
Yep, he's gathering a group to leave. He telekinetically releases Ben's restraint, instructing him to find a rifle hidden inland to ambush Alana.
5 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Unlock departs, Ben runs into the jungle with Alana quickly pursuing him.
Whew.
Flash sideways number 5, 2004, off the island. Ben knocks on Principal Reynolds' door and enters. Reynolds, dismissive, assumes Ben is there to complain about detention. Instead, Ben hands him a folder, urging him to read its contents. Reynolds sarcastically comments on Ben's little club, but as he reads, his demeanor changes. Ben implies the school board and Reynolds' wife would disapprove.
Ooh.
Reynolds asks what Ben wants, and Ben demands Reynolds' job, suggesting the principal resign for personal or health reasons, and then recommend Ben as his replacement. Ben believes the school board's respect for Reynolds will secure him that position. He asks, "Do we have an understanding?" Reynolds, however, counters by reading an email from Alexandra Russo,
Oh, no.
Damn it.
requesting a recommendation letter for Yale. He points out that recommendations work both ways and threatens to ruin Alex's future if Ben proceeds with his plan. Reynolds questions the value of his job and power to Ben, leaving the decision to him. "So, what'll it be, Dr. Linus?"
Oh, here we are.
Like he
again.
calls him Dr. Linus there.
Yeah, finally.
Yep.
Condescendingly. Here we are again. Ben has to choose between himself and Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
2007, on the island, Ben runs through the jungle, clutching the rifle as Alana catches up to him. "Drop it! Put the gun down!" he commands, and she complies. "What are you waiting for?" she asks. Ben, desperate, says he wants to explain. Alana skeptically retorts, "Explain what?" "I know what you're feeling," Ben begins. Alana counters, "You have no idea what I'm feeling." Ben continues, "I watched my daughter Alex die in front of me, and it was my fault. I had a chance to save her, but I chose the island over her. All in the name of Jacob.
Dick.
I sacrificed everything for him, and he didn't even care. Yeah, I stabbed him. I was so angry, confused. I was terrified that I was about to lose the only thing that ever mattered to me, my power. But the thing that really mattered was already gone. I'm sorry that I killed Jacob. I am. And I don't expect you to forgive me because I can never forgive myself."
Whoa.
Ben?
Whoa.
Alana, her expression softening slightly, asks, "Then what do you want?" Ben pleads, "Just let me leave." When she asks where he'll go, he responds, "To Locke, because he's the only one who will have me."
God.
Alana says, "I'll have you," and then walks away.
All right, right here in the
Right
bushes,
now, let's
baby.
do it. Let's do it. All right.
Let's do it.
This is a. I did not expect the conversation to take this turn, but I will take it.
Yep.
Way to ruin a moment, boy.
Yep.
A shocked and amazed Benjamin Linus follows her.
That was actually really
Unbuttoning his
crazy.
pants.
Yep.
Yeah, he was really pathetic. He's the only one who will have me. It was like, oh my God, this is bottom.
Well, yeah, I'll have more to say about this scene once we get through the next Flash Sideways, too.
Flash Sideways number 6, 2004, Off the Island. Ben enters Reynolds' office, which is empty. Shortly after, Alex walks in. Dr. Linus, she greets him. Hello, Alex, he replies. She excitedly shares, I was just coming by to thank Principal Reynolds. He wrote me the most incredible letter of recommendation. Ben, surprised, responds, wow, wonderful. Alex continues, did you have something to do with it? I mean, I thought he might say some nice things, but he really went all out. Ben assures her, no, it wasn't me, Alex. But I always say you're a great student. Obviously, I wasn't the only one who noticed. Alex beams. Thanks, Doc. Before Reynolds bursts into the room, cutting her off. Linus, what the hell are you doing in my office? Reynolds demands.
Jesus.
Ben calmly explains, just dropping off the detention sign-up sheet for the week, per your request. Reynolds instructs him, just put it on the desk. Turning to Alex, Ben asks, so, will I see you in history club? She looks puzzled. You mean when it's back on? Ben corrects her. Oh no, we've got our old spot back. Principal Reynolds found someone to cover for detention. Isn't that right?
Hey, he got a little
Reynolds.
hit in.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, he got like almost nothing out of this.
Well, he got Alex a letter of recommendation, but
Yeah. Reynolds grudgingly confirms, yes, that's right. Ben, with a satisfied smile, says, well then, see you at 4. Alex cheerfully responds, bye. As Ben exits, Arst approaches him outside. Hey, did you do it? Arst asks eagerly. Ben simply says, no. Arst, incredulous, repeats, no? No? Wait, what about my parking space?
Ben
Douchebag.
calmly pulls a pin from a grenade and hands it.
Ben offers, you can have mine.
Good grief.
Arst leaves, disgruntled. Ben then spots Alex leaving the principal's office, smiling. He watches her, a proud look on his face, before turning and walking away.
Well,
You go, Ben.
so last week I thought it was interesting how Kate and Saeed's episodes went the way they went, and they happened to be following Unlock. You guys didn't seem that impressed, so I'm going to continue with this theory.
That worked the first time. Just beat us with it like Gilgamesh.
Something like that. No, but I do want to point out here is Ben in his Flash Sideways making a different choice, not still being a fugitive or a killer. And wouldn't you know it? Here's Alana that says, I'll have you. And so here he is on this other side, and I seem to find that interesting. And so
Now it's more interesting now that this happens.
Okay.
And the fact that they did it too. So
Did it. All right. Shall we finish this episode?
Yes.
2007, on the island. Ben and Alana return to the beach camp, and Ben sees Sun struggling with a shelter. Do you need a hand, he asks. Sun nods.
All of a sudden,
Please help
Vincent
me with
runs
the
up with a
shirt.
hand in his mouth.
Ben helps her secure the tarp as mini music montage begins.
Haven't had one of these in a while.
I know.
Lapidus adds more wood to his campfire and sits down. Miles is at the edge of the beach, closely examining a diamond. Alana sits alone, holding the pouch of Jacob's ashes, quietly weeping. Just then, Hurley, Jack, and Richard arrive at the beach. Sun, Lapidus, Alana, and Miles greet them warmly, while Ben and Richard keep their distance, standing apart from the group. Out at sea, a submarine approaches the island, its periscope rising to observe the beach scene.
What?
Sir, there are people on the beach. Should we stop? Asks the crewman at the periscope. Charles fucking Widmore replies,
Huh?
no, proceed as planned. The crewman acknowledges, yes, sir, Mr. Widmore. and the submarine continues its approach.
What?
Lost title screen, end of episode.
There's an ending right there.
Yeah.
Indeed it is. Who wants to hear some fun facts about Napoleon Bonaparte and Elba Island?
Yes.
Nobody.
Let's do that.
No
Sure,
one.
yes.
No one at all.
Yay.
Holy shit. Well,
Bill
you know
and
what?
Ted.
I almost did it on the East India Trading Company, but it turned out way too depressing. So
Yeah. That's not a lot. Yeah. I've
Right,
actually.
they're a horrible company.
Yeah, I've been reading one of James DeVrita's books right now about the history of the seas or whatever, and it gets into
they're essentially the
Dutch-
first corporation. That's
Yeah.
where it all started.
Yeah,
Anyways,
shocker, they were not good.
No,
we're not doing the fun facts on that. No, Napoleon Bonaparte, born August 15th, 1769 in Corsica, rose from relatively modest beginnings to become one of history's most influential military leaders and rulers ever. His ascent began during the tumultuous times of the French Revolution, where he was able to use his strategic prowess that allowed him to rise pretty rapidly through the military ranks. And then by 1799, he seized power through a coup, establishing himself as the first consul of France. And then in 1804, he crowned himself emperor. Because why not? Cementing his dominance over the French and actually much of European politics. His reign was marked by significant achievements that extended beyond just military conquest. One of his enduring legacies is the Napoleonic Code, which is a set of civil laws that influenced legal systems worldwide, and provided a unified legal framework for the country, France. Despite his many successes, Napoleon's ambition eventually led to his downfall. Contrary to popular belief, it was not because he was short. It was the disastrous invasion of Russia in 1812.
Yep.
The campaign severely weakened his grand army, and subsequent defeats by a coalition of European powers, which saw their chance and took it, culminated in his abdication on April 6, 1814. And the once mighty emperor was forced into exile on Elba Island, a small Mediterranean island in Tuscany, Italy. Known for its iron resources and historical significance, Elba provided a unique backdrop for his exile. When he got there, he resided in what was called the Palazzina di Mulini and also in the Villa San Martino. So it doesn't sound like he was doing pretty bad, but he didn't have power, much like someone else we know.
It's too bad that he didn't have Vicini giving him counsel, because he would have told him that you never start a land war in Asia.
That's right.
Helped him build up a tolerance to iocane powder.
Exactly.
So despite being stuck on Elba, Napoleon did his best while he was there. He had roads built and he renovated harbors. They made agricultural improvements. And he basically set up like a small administration there. However, his stay on Elba Island was short-lived because on February 26, 1815, he escaped, marking the beginning of the period known as the 100 Days, which was his dramatic return to France, where he regained power briefly before ultimately facing defeat at what we all learn in elementary school, the Battle of Waterloo on June 18th, 1815. This final loss led to his second exile, this time to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic, where he died on May 5th, 1821. So it looks like he had his second chance and was exiled twice. And maybe Ben Linus is making better decisions.
Yeah.
What do you think? I love that the writers included this because it's the parallels. It's so
definitely
great.
A parallel. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have something else you were going to say?
No, that's it. I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, well, I like that. Shall we do some best and worst moments? How about Christy?
My worst moment was Jack playing a game of chicken with Richard and Dynamite.
Okay.
I thought that was
You
a
were
little
scared?
crazy. Not really, because I know that Jack makes it past that point. I just think that it's really fucking stupid.
Okay.
Best moments, Alana making Ben dig his own grave.
God.
And Alana forgiving Ben and letting him join her group.
Oh.
All right. Ben, what about you?
I think I only have one. Like my favorite moment and my least favorite moment were the same moment, and it was when when Alana chases Ben into the jungle or into the forest or whatever, and he's got a gun on her, and then he basically just hits rock, like his dialogue while he's basically showing that he's hit rock bottom, ending with because no one else will have me. I think it's an appropriate character arc for him. And I just liked the way they did that. The rest of the episode, I was sort of like, it was okay, but I really, really liked that scene. And I actually also, I like the way that they pulled the switcheroo on you in the sideways universe or whatever, where he's in there and you think that he's ratted out the principal or whatever, and he's in there and he's now the principal, but then you come in and you find out that he actually did, what he wish he would have done to Alex earlier, in the other universe, instead of letting her die, putting her first. So there were some cool parallels here in this episode. And those are the two ones that I like the most.
All right. How about Derek?
My worst moment was Island Ben being pathetic while digging his grave, and then also with Alana, saying nobody wants me. My best moment was Sideways Ben, because he made the choice I didn't expect him to make by not ratting out the principal so that Alex could get that good review.
Right. I think my favorite moment, again, not a moment, it's just like all of the side view or sideways flash or whatever of the relationship between and the scenes and dialogue between Ben and Alex, because I think he got to live out what he should have done on the island, and I liked to see that. I don't really know that I had a worse moment other than the principal being such a dick and also not having one, and also fucking a nurse in the school, and it's just ew. What are you doing? You're a principal, you should have better behavior. So just sort of all of that, I think.
And also, you really shouldn't be having sex in the workplace unless you are a sex worker.
Yeah, it's just weird. Why go home after and do that? That's so weird. Anyways, Christy, why don't you tell us about your rankings this week?
So on the bottom, I have in third place Widmore, just because he dared to show his face. Arst in the second place, and at the top of the bottom, Walter Peck, aka Principal Reynolds. In the top, at the third place, I have Frank, with Miles as number second and Alana as number one. I will say that I did consider putting Ben in the top of three.
What?
Okay. All right. At least, it's a thought that counts.
It would have,
4 seasons, but
it would have been Sideways Ben, and I don't want this universe's Ben getting the points.
Oh my God.
There we go.
Wow.
I'm going to kill Arst because he just fucking keeps coming back. Die. And I'll have a little menage a trois with Frank and Alana this week.
Hot. Ben. How about you? What do your rankings look like this week?
Let's see. I've got, for third worst, I've got Sun.
Sun.
Yeah, Sun.
Whoa.
Yeah, like she's a one-note character now.
Where's my husband?
Where's my husband?
Yes,
it's the same
it's
thing.
my
Where's my
baby.
baby?
My
It's the
husband.
same thing. She's just all like, she's so, for somebody that's
Okay.
supposed to be a candidate, or maybe he's the candidate or whatever, she's not showing any fucking leadership. She's just kind of
Well, she
walking around.
I mean, like the season 4 flash forward off the island, or 5.
Season 4
off
or
the island.
5. Yeah, last season.
Like off the island, she was like such a badass, and now,
Yeah.
you're right. It's sort of my husband.
Yeah, where is he? Like, just constantly wide-eyed, waiting for somebody to tell her good news. Go fucking do something.
Oh my god.
And second worst, I've got Arts for obvious reasons. And then
I'm
worst,
not as mad at Arts as the rest of you, but all right.
It's just
And
and
annoying
worst,
as fuck.
I also have Walter Peck, aka Principal Reynolds, aka this man has no dick. For third place, I've got Miles.
Yeah.
Just, he kind of, when Ben was going at him, hey, what about I could give you this money. He's just like, dude, I got it. I can get diamonds. I don't need that shit anymore. But then he like brings him food and everything. He's being a decent guy. And then second place, I've got Jack. And for his gambit with a dynamite, I just enjoyed that. Once again, it's like swallowing the pill. It's just like, yeah, swinging past your knees, buddy. Like, I think he believes now. Like he's now beginning to believe. So he's going to start doing these things that maybe don't make a whole lot of sense. And then I've got Ben Linus in the top spot. Both Ben Linus in the Sideways universe and this one, because. And really, really, because he is like, he's sort of you may see him as a loser, see him as pathetic, but he's got an admirable character in the Sideways universe. Like, he's principled without being a principal. That was weird. And then in the new one, just for like basically, admitting what he was, admitting his mistakes and all that type of stuff, and admitting he truly is pathetic. But that's how you begin. That's how you begin to rebuild yourself. So. I am going to have a threesome this week with Alex and Alana.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to kill Roger Workman because, man, he's just pathetic. Like, sorry, dude.
Just turn off
like,
the oxygen.
Just turn off the oxygen. Yeah.
He's not mean though.
No, he's not mean, but I just kind of want to put him out of his misery.
Okay. Perfect. I'll go next. I didn't have a second or third worst. I was just really mad at Principal Dickless Reynolds. So I just have him as the worst. My third and second best, I think I've had them both here for the same reasons. Hurley and then Miles. For the comic relief, they're both just so funny in these episodes. Miles in particular for getting that dig in at Ben, which was great. And then I have at the top, I have Ben Linus.
Was digging.
Yeah, well, digging while Ben was digging.
Double dig.
The double dig.
I dig that joke.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Diggity.
I think Ben Linus was good in both places. I think he came to terms with what he did on the island. Side note, I also think it's interesting that we see both Ben Linus and Richard sort of like abandoning the idea of Jacob. Like, what the fuck was this? Was all for nothing. But then also the Flash Sideways, I mean, he made a different choice, right? And so maybe that's why Ilana accepted him. Speaking of Ilana, I didn't have room for she or Jack in my top, which I thought that they both also deserved. So I'm going to have a threesome with them for that reason, and also because they are hot. And I am going to kill the Board of Education for allowing such a gross individual as Principal Dickless Reynolds to be running a school. Derek, how about you?
My third worst was Charles Widmore, because it looks like he's back.
You're mad at him. You don't know why he's there, but you're just mad. Okay.
Second worst is Arzt. Because he's just whiny about his little parking spot and all that crap. And of course, my worst is Principal Dickless Richards.
Oh, we got a
Reynolds,
clean sweep
but
on the
that's
worst.
Yep.
William Atherton casting supreme once again.
Yep. Plays his part perfectly.
Takes the sweep.
And my third best is Miles because, yes, I like his comic relief and everything. Second was Jack because he's a believer, not a believer. A believer.
Well, you don't know. He might be.
He might be. And he has the balls to sit there with that dynamite knowing it's not going to, he pretty much knew it wasn't going to blow up, obviously. And then best is Ben Linus because, he did realize that, he fucked up, letting Alex die, on the island. And then he made the right choice in the sideways. So,
yeah.
He was really good in this episode, and I'm going to kill Arzt. I'm going to take him to his parking spot and throw a stick of dynamite at him. And I'm going to fuck Alex because the actress is 21 years old.
There we go.
Yep.
Also in high school, but that's fine. Ben,
What?
would you please update us? Has there been any movement in the bottom this week?
There actually has. First of all, we've got a tie for third place now with Dogecoin and Creamy Kimi, both with negative 26 points.
Okay.
Second place, we got Randy Douchebag Nations falling to second place with negative 28 points, and everyone's favorite shill, Leslie Arzt, taking the top spot with negative 34 points.
Oh, he doesn't deserve it. No, he's not worse.
Yep, he's where he belongs.
Not worse than Randy Douchebag Nations. I politely disagree, but who's on the top? Has Helen made it another week?
Helen has not made it another week. Helen falls out of third place, and we now have a tie for third place.
Whoa,
with,
you're
going to be surprised here. Yeah, Miles and Ilana. Both climbing into a third place tie.
Yeah.
The Ilana fucking.
Yeah, we've been wearing her pussy out. Like,
First of all, there's no such thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not a thing.
Second of all, feel free to try.
Okay. In second place, we have Jack with 45 points, making up some ground. And
Silver
Hurley
Surgeon.
still in first place, but only gaining 1 point this week. So Jack is closing the gap.
Wow. Not by much, but a little bit. Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
8
Hurley.
point difference.
Oh, okay. Well, then you better get to work, Hurley. Anywho, shall we do some final impressions? How about Christy?
I thought it was a really good episode. I didn't mind being the host of a Ben episode.
I thought you'd like this one.
Yeah, I really actually enjoyed him in this episode for the most part. And I feel like it kind of got us a little bit further. And then we get that, peak of Widmore and his submarine at the end. So now it's like, well, what's going to happen next week?
We got a peek of Widmore's submarine.
Old wrinkled submarine.
Yeah. This man has a dick. It's so big we call it a submarine.
Well, I mean, we just saw the tip. Really.
Yeah, right.
That's right. It's the tip.
Wow. I also loved this episode. I've been rooting for Ben Linus for a while now. I was one of the resistance at the beginning, but quickly realized that, he's one of the better characters on this show, period. So this little redemption episode I thought was great. I'm also obviously dragging you guys through the kind of things that I noticed my first time around, which were the decisions in the Flash Sideways seem to sort of correspond with what is going on the island. We'll explore that more later. But yeah, I think this is a high point for season 6. And I just really enjoyed it. It was good to see Alex again as well. She's a delight. And watching both Richard Alpert and Benjamin Linus's breakdowns is fascinating to me. It seems like Alana's the only one still working toward Jacob's goal. So good for her, obviously reflected in the power rankings this week. And yeah, this episode just leaves me excited for more. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I did like this episode. I thought the Flash Sideways stuff I did once again feel was stronger than what happened on the island, but I do think that the Ben Linus is one of my favorite characters in this show. Like, he's a top 3 character for me, and I thought this was a really, really great. But again, the sort of parallel narratives and him being able to sort of make those redemptive choices in the side universe that you could see reflected in his sort of regrets in whatever on the island. So it was nice to see that. It was good to see that he didn't double down. Like, he lied at the beginning of the episode. He was trying to squirrel his way out of it. But when Miles called him on it after that, there was an earnestness that sort of crept in, and it was sort of came to a head when they had each other at gunpoint, and he sort of broke down and just said, "I'm pathetic. No one else will have me." And then Alana saying, "I'll have you." That was like, oh, she's basically offering sort of an olive branch. Like, you've explained it. I understand your motivations. I might not like it, but I'm not going to just kill you. I also, like, the more I thought about it, the thing with Jack is, and this is like, while he is a believer, I'm not sure if he's totally a believer, but what I think has happened is he doesn't really feel like he's got another choice. He's either going to own this island and like be the next protector of it, or he'd have to go back to his other life, which is pathetic, because he said he came to this island because he was broken, right? So he's sort of just like,
give me island or give me death.
Exactly. Like, he's all in on this now, and just and in that way, I don't know if he knew. I mean,
he already threw that nuke once, right? So he's just like, all right, I guess this is what I'm gonna do now, is die, or which seems like Richard's fucking state of mind right now too. I'm out.
He's basically where before he was always trying to be like practical and save everyone else. Now he's just all in. Like, he's basically taken the place of some of the other characters who were like all in on protecting the island. So it's like been an interesting. Yeah. While the last episode I thought was kind of crappy, I thought this episode was sort of redemptive as well, and it kind of like, okay, cool. It's good stuff.
Well, interesting. The 2 episodes, like the Kate and the Saeed episodes that got a little bit poo-pooed, were also episodes where they made the same decisions. And then here we are with a redemptive episode, and it feels that way as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting. All right, Derek, that leaves you. What'd you think of Dr. Linus? And where are you sitting with questions and answers and stuff?
Yeah, I really liked this episode. I thought it was really good, a lot better than the last one. I've always liked, or not always liked, but I started liking Ben Linus pretty early on, in the series. I've liked him since, and I'm happy that he finally came to terms with, that he messed up and owned up to his mistakes. And I do find it interesting that the 2 characters that kind of went to the dark in the sideways are going with Locke, and Linus here chose like the better path, or the good path is going to the Jacob side. But
see, I should have just waited till this week to say it all. Apparently,
you should have.
Last week was the wrong time. What ads?
But I'm kind of losing faith in Jacob. Is he really good? Because he's basically fucked over a lot of people. Sending them to this island and screwing their lives up. So I don't know.
Interesting.
But question wise, where's that sub going?
Indeed. All right. Well, next week, it'll be Wednesday, July 17th. It's a Sawyer episode, his last. Oh. It's a Ben episode, our Ben. It's called Recon. Join us as we find out what the fuck Charles Widmore is doing at this island, and if Sawyer's sideways adventure dictates which side he chooses on the island, and the triumphant return of Rocky Dennis. We'll see you next week.
What?
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, all.
What? Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production, executive produced and edited by me, Lacey J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook and SpaceBear_Media on Instagram and Threads. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube for extra video content. Or for everything in one place, go to spacebearmedia.com.